Hello there, welcome again to another Lazy Show where we teach you AutoCAD in a way that is more productive so you can stop wasting your time. As always, we show up here not each, but every other Tuesday around this time, around 9 p.m., and that is Pennsylvania in the United States time, with a new live stream, a new way to save you some time working in AutoCAD. So let me start getting ready over here on my second screen so we can start today's presentation right away. All right. Okay, so let me share my screen. Mm, okay. So we are gonna start in a second. Oops, what I just did. Yes, I did something. Okay. All right. So let me again. Okay. All right. So we're gonna start today's presentation. All right. So today we're gonna learn something very interesting. That is gonna save you a lot of time. And of course, during the presentation, if you have any question, you can stop me at any time because we are live, right? And that's the beauty of being live doing all of this. So let me get ready. All right. Okay. I think we're ready to start today's presentation. Okay, so let me open a couple of files. Okay. So last week, so let's start then. So last week, working on a project, on an AutoCAD project, I opened my title block to add an image over here. I remember I was adding this image of a aerial, so that I have right here on my screen. So to add this aerial, I simply click and drag it to my AutoCAD model space and say insert here. So that way I inserted it, my image of my area really quick. It didn't have to be precisely, but I inserted it about right there. Anyway, so after I inserted my image and save the changes, of course, on my title block, I needed to create some PDFs of my drawings, right? So then I proceeded to open my drawings. I went and created my PDF using, the regular Control B and all of that. I went ahead and did a preview, and it looked fine. So I created my PDF, and then I, of course, saved the changes. Now, after I did this, I went ahead and proceeded to do the same steps to create the other PDFs on my drawing. Right. Uh, so on my other drawing, um, so I went ahead and did a Control P to create a PDF and said okay, save it. And I realized I got a frame on my PDF. Now, did I got a frame on the image on my other drawing? No. So why then AutoCAD is randomly showing a frame of my image on certain drawings? That's not right. So I had to manually go into each of my drawings and make sure the frame of my image was off by using the frame command and turn it to 0, and that way I could create my PDF without showing that image frame, right? So but you can imagine all of the tedious process if you have dozens of drawings that you need to create your PDFs, right? Now the question is there any way to kind of simplify this process and 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 set or and set certain variables to always activate on all of your open drawings? The answer is yes. There is a way that we can set AutoCAD with certain variables or commands so they can run every time we open a drawing, and we can avoid certain problems such as the one that I just faced with the image frames. um, and this once you understand this technique, you can basically apply it for anything. For instance, setting up some layer standard for your dimensions, because if you set a dimension over here in one drawing, you have to also set it up on this other drawing, and that's not right. There gotta be a more efficient way to set it once and have it ready in all of your open drawings. So we're gonna see that today, and hopefully you're gonna learn something that's gonna be very beneficial for you. So let's start then. Let's start. Let me see over here. So in order to set this up, what I'm gonna do is let me close this. What I'm gonna do is use a file called ACAD doc. So let me show it to you first so you can understand what I'm talking about. So let me go ahead and show you this really quick. So in a folder, any folder that you want, we can create a ACAD doc folder. Here, we're gonna use this file so AutoCAD can activate it whenever we open a drawing. So the way we're gonna create it is we're gonna right click on it and say new and then text document. So once I have that document, I'm gonna simply open it by double clicking on it. Let me go over here. right? So it's right here. And what we want to do is save this file as a Lisp file or a cat doc Lisp file. The way I'm going to do it is go into File, Save As, and I'm going to call this a cat doc. Now, the name is very important. Why? Because again, this is the only file or Lisp file that AutoCAD will search for in the program. Um, so this is intended to be associated with each drawing, right? Whenever we initialize a drawing. So this is very useful if you want to load a command or maybe a system variable, like turning our frames for our images always off when we open any drawing. So again, to do this, I'm gonna change the type over here. It says all files, and I'm gonna say .lsp for a Lisp extension, and I'm gonna click save. As you can see now, if I close this, you're gonna see that I successfully created a AutoLisp application source. So I don't need this other file anymore. I'm gonna erase it. Now, let's open this up by double clicking on it. And over here, again, since AutoCAD is gonna search for this ACAD doc Lisp file every time we open a drawing, we can say to AutoCAD, hey AutoCAD, I want you to set the system variable. In this case, I'm gonna open and close a parenthesis so that way we get inside this and say set var. So meaning we're gonna set a variable, right? In this case, a system variable. And what was the name that we use, or the system variable was frame, correct? To turn our images frame off. And this needs to be in quotes, like so. And finally, we're gonna press enter or space. And we want to set this variable, but what value do we need this variable to be on? Well, if we go here in AutoCAD and open a file really quick so I can show it to you. If we use the frame system variable and press enter and press F1, so that way we can have this help window, we can see again that frame is not a command, it's a system variable. And here we can understand some of the descriptions. Now, this is all up to you. If you want always your image frames to be off or not visible, we can set it to 0. Or if you want to display the frame but not the plot frame, we can set it to 2. So that's all up to you. Either 0 or 2 won't show or print the frame. So knowing that, we can go back to our ACAD doc Lisp and set it to something like 0. So that way, we can tell AutoCAD every time we open a drawing, we want these image frames to be off. Now, it's also nice to have like a quick description of what is this, right? So I'm gonna use this semicolon to add a short description. For instance, display do not display the frame. Now, this specific system variable will also work for wipeouts, PDFs, images, and so on. So that's why I like to use this system variable. So do not display the frames. All right. So that's all we need. We can, of course, keep adding multiple system variables below over here if we have more. For instance, I can paste like so and start changing um, all of different system variables that we can use, but let's try to keep it simple for explanation purposes. So once we have that, I'm gonna close and save the changes, of course. All right, so we can check now that when we open this we have some instructions to AutoCAD. So let me close that out now. Now, the next step in order for this to work is we need to add this file to the AutoCAD background. So the way we do it is by using our options and going to the files and support file search path. So over here, we're gonna add and browse this ACAD doc file that we just created. So let me quickly find it. AutoCAD, and it's right here, ACAD doc. So that's the folder where I have stored my ACAD doc Lisp file. I'm gonna click open, and then I'm gonna hit apply and click OK. So in order for this to reflect, most of the time we need to reopen AutoCAD. So let's test it. So you can see now that let's do a preview of this really quick. So we have the frame right there, as you can see, for the image. So let me close AutoCAD completely so it can take effect. And now let's open the drawing again. Right. So as you can see, AutoCAD, it's giving you this message now. Now, this will only show the first time. Once we click always load, we're gonna see that the next time, again, this message won't be asked. Now, the important thing, as you can see here, is that we don't have that image frame anymore. And if we do a preview, you're gonna notice that again, AutoCAD, it's already running this ACAD doc Lisp file on the background for us. So we'll never have to worry about setting up this again. Now, just to keep just to test it on a different drawing, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and close this, save, of course. Let me close this and say no, sure. So let me open another drawing. Maybe this one, exterior elevation. And as you can see, we're not having that frame anymore. So what do you think about this quick and easy technique, again, to set some system variables? And that way we just set it and forget it. We don't have to mess around again with any of these different settings or system variables. Again, this happened to me. The problem again that happened to me was about the frames, but once you understand this concept, you can apply it for anything. For instance, let's see if we can do another quick example. So let's see. So for instance, let's say, let me give you another example, right? Let me see if there are any questions or comments on the chat uh, we before we proceed. Uh, let's see. Nope, no questions or comments. All right, so I'm gonna show this one more time with another example that I think it's a good use of this technique is so most of the time when we set a layer current on a drawing, for instance, we go here under the dimensions panel and we set our dimensions layer, let's say, I don't know, X text. Well, let's create a dimension layer really quick. So I'm going to open my layer palette. I'm going to create a new layer really quick and call this dimension. Just keep it simple for now. Now, of course, if we draw a dimension right now, right? A dimension really quick, like so, we're going to see that our dimension comes on the wrong layer, a elevation text. That's not right. Um, the problem is again that when we go to set a current layer for our dimensions over here, let's say we set it to dimensions, of course, right? So of course, if we draw a dimension now, it will come on that correct layer, which is great. The problem is that once you go to a different drawing and draw a dimension, your dimension again will come on the wrong layer. And why? Well, it's because that specific variable for setting up your dimensions, you can only set it per each specific drawing. But now that you learn a new technique, you can quickly go to your AutoCAD doc file and simply add this system variable or this command, right? For instance, you can say something like, so let me copy this really quick with Control C. Go ahead and paste it with Control V. And in this case, for the layer of my dimension, I can simply say set bar, and I can say dim layer, because that's the system variable to set a layer for your dimensions. And in this case, I can say, your layer. For instance, my layer would be, let's say, dimension 1, just to keep it different from the current layer. So that's my layer name. And of course, here we can add a description. I don't know, like this sets my dimension layer. And done. Once we close, and of course, let me see if I save it. No, I didn't save it. So first, of course, I want to save this, right? And then I can close it. So I can close that. So let me open it. Here we go. It's good now. So now that we set this up really quick, look what's gonna happen. Even if I open a different drawing, let's open this one. So this is again a third drawing now. You're gonna see that when we draw our dimensions, it will come on the correct layer. Always. So you never have to worry ever again on setting up your layers for your dimensions. Isn't that great, guys? So take this technique and use it in your advantage, and let me know in the comments what are the system variables that you are planning to implement. So we have a comment on the chat. Let me go to the chat now. We still have some time for your questions. um, so let me go over here. We have a comment on the chat. Is Chris? Chris says, "Hello, sir." Hello, Chris. Hope you are doing great, my friend. Um, so yeah, what do you guys think about this technique that I just went over? I think it's very powerful. Again, once you implement it, you just set it and forget it. Never again have to worry about those tedious system variables, such as the frames for your images, such as the layers for your dimensions. You can set up the layers for your hatches, for your text, and so on. So uh, we have another comment on the chat. Chris says, "Hello, sir. How to set dimensions to fit 2 meter?" Hey, Chris. That's a great question. Um, so you want to change your dimensions to fit 2 meters. So we already did a live stream about that actually. Let me find it for you really quick. Let me see over here. So that way I don't have to recreate your question, right? Let me see. I think you can still see my screen. Nope. Okay. So Uh, let's see, where is it? Yeah, I remember. I just did. Here we go. It's right here. Chris. This is the video. It's three minutes video. We go over how to change or toggle between dimensions in feet and inches. But again, the same technique applies for your dimensions in meters, right? It doesn't matter the units, the technique, this is still the same. And that's the video that you need, my friend. Of course, if you have any questions, you can also let me know on the comment section of the video, but we already covered that up, as you can see. So yeah, let's see, let me go over here. Okay, I think we still have some time to help you with your questions. Let's see if there are more questions before we wrap up today's presentation, which was short, but I think it's very powerful. Once you implement this technique again, you're gonna save so much time and headaches, right? um, all right, let's see if there are more questions. Otherwise, I'll have to stop here and start thinking on our next topic for next Tuesday, right? Um, so let's see. Uh, what do you guys wanna cover next Tuesday? Do you wanna create a dynamic block? Do you wanna create a custom macro command? Um, do you wanna learn some tips and tricks? Um, Let me know on the chat. Chris says, "Thanks, sir." No problem, Chris. So, where are you from, Chris? Where are you connected from? For instance, I'm right now in the United States, in Pennsylvania, and it's around 10 p.m. Uh, so, all right, let's see. All right. So if there are no questions, I'm gonna stop right here and start preparing for our next live stream, for our next meeting. Um, so let's see over here. Okay. Let me start closing everything. All right. So I hope you learned something useful today. I'm gonna see you here not next Tuesday, but we do this bi-weekly, right? Bi-weekly on Tuesdays. So that way you can save your questions, save your suggestions, and all right. So let me stop right here, and hopefully, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, my friend.